Read this now, or perish in the haunted dungeons of doom, is the name of the README file for NFM MDX v2. And the v1 README name was not that much better. It was read this now, or burn in the fiery pits of hell. Your choice. Thank you for downloading NFM MDX v2. This is the second modification entirely made by me. And before we get into the actual game, I'm going to talk about the README files because there's actually quite some juicy content inside. When you play this game, you agree to not edit any of the content in the zip file, not claim any of it as your own, and not use it for your own personal gain. Well, these clauses here and the titles were just made specifically to scare off code thieves and people who wanted to put my own stages in their game and not give any credit, stuff like that. In hindsight, I doubt any of this worked. Obviously, these protections, quote unquote, are put in place so people don't do this sort of thing. But it's naive to think that when you put something out on the internet, people are actually gonna abide by such rules and not just do whatever they want with it. And honestly, it's kind of silly because this game would not exist if I wasn't able to take someone else's game and modify it to whatever I want, right? Still, at the time I was very protective about stages and cars, and code thieves were not uncommon, so I found it necessary to put these in. Do not upload any of the cars or tracks to NFM. This is the only one that was in the v2 README that was not in the v1 README, because NFM was not a thing when v1 came out. NFM2 was a thing, and in fact v1 came before NFM2, then NFM2 came out, and then v2 came out, and then NFMM came out, if I got this right. I'm not sure quite sure on the timeline. I know when v2 came out. It was May 2012, but I'm not sure when multiplayer came out. This is, again, I didn't want much to do with multiplayer when cars, when it came out. I liked playing it. It was fun to play with friends. Then it got a bit too competitive for me. But again, to not expect people to add my cars when they have access to the files was incredibly naive. And I think the first day the cars were available to be uploaded into NFMM, all my stuff was in there. So, oh well. This will result in massive hate spam. Well, kind of, maybe. Hopefully people would realize that someone is using stuff without your permission or without giving credit and report to me, and I would ask those people to stop doing that. I don't think it ever happened, because I think even if people took my stuff, I just kind of stopped caring at some point. However, you can, and probably should, play this game as much as you like. Post videos about it as long as I'm given credit, and some people did. More people than I anticipated. And I went back to see those videos, which is pretty cool to see other people play my version, and much better than me, I must say. And now I'll get back to this. Post feedback and suggestions about my version in the forums, which many people did, and I'm thankful for that. Important note, when you click runfs.exe, it directly windowed mode. That's not even English. To play in full screen mode, copy runfs.ini, blah 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 blah. Yeah, full screen compatibility. You have to copy a file from another game. Sure. Check out all the contents in changelog.txt. Yeah, there was stuff in the v1 video that I said I didn't know, but in fact, if I had checked changelog.txt for v1, I would have known what I had changed in v1 2012, which was just adding Dirty Buffalo and fixing the glitches in Safari Wrangler. And again, I'm going to come back to that. Visit the forums and check out the development thread, and blah blah blah. Thanks for downloading. Till next time, which was the way I used to sign off on all my videos. I don't know how many people actually watched to the end, or watched at all. Anyway, let's get into the game. Right. So this is the title screen for V2. It looks much better than the one for V1, honestly. It looks... I mean, the cars are actually from this version. I have an actual custom logo, and the lightning effect is actually pretty cool. It's like coming out of the madness. It's no longer a blob behind the menu. It's a hexagon. I mean, I guess it doesn't look as jank as the last one. And in fact, one of the things I'm going to show you, first of all, let's look at the instructions. I think they're exactly the same, so nothing changed here. Likewise with the credits, still the bogus copyright. And yeah, thanks Omar Wally, and thanks Phyrexian for making this version playable. Oh, I wasn't in the last one. Okay, this time we're going to actually do something different before we get into the car select. I'm going to show you some of the things that I didn't show you in the V1 video. And these are actually sketches for what the tracks in V1, for what eventually became the tracks in V1. Yeah, you could probably guess, extra credit if you guess each one of them. It's not that hard, honestly. But you can see that they're not, some of them are very similar to what eventually came out. Right? Petrol in My Veins looks horrible, but it's actually quite faithful as far as a reproduction of what's in the game. Looking at the crash and burn one is just a disaster. There's not even a square. None of them are squares, and they're supposed to be squares. GST, in fact, is quite different in this drawing, in this draft, than it is in the game. I mean, there's a lot of things that are changed. There's nothing behind the starting point, and in the actual game, there's a bunch of stuff behind. But you can see, right, real checkpoint, fake checkpoint, all this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to be showing sketches for all the tracks before we play them. Let's see. You've been listening to Forgotten by Warhawk, and now let's get into the car select. Okay, so first of all, we no longer have flame bullets. We have ice bullets, which doesn't look amazing. I think the color scheme could have been better. It's a bit too blue, a bit too cyan. It could have been a little more white. Though, if I remember correctly, white cars in NFM don't look very good because of all the black lines where the polygons connect. This is fine though. This is perfectly acceptable. And I think this is one of the colors that's available in GTA, in the original GTA for some of the cars, and also in Death Rally. So that's fine. Flame bullet, ice bullet, the whole dichotomy. Select your machine is still not centered. And actually, let's talk about the background. The background is like this weird cave thing that is mirrored in the middle. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. The car is in this like small alcove. It's kind of looks like it's floating on water. I don't know. It looks much better than the previous one, at least. There's supposed to be some sort of cave paintings of the cars. So it's got Safari Wrangler, Hippie, the original Der Fuhrer, and Dirty Buffalo. Other differences from V1 are the text is a different color. It's red, and actually the bars are like black to red to white. And it actually looks much better than the last one, where it was just like a rainbow. Unfortunately, I've already detected a mistake. It says power save instead of fuel tank, but oh well. Let's see. Ice bullets. Not much changed. LMP looks good. I don't hate it. I think the other color scheme is slightly better, but this one's good too. It's still a gorgeous car. Safari Wrangler looks amazing in camo. I still haven't fixed that polygon from the underside, but oh well, it's part of the car now. Hippie is pink, which is the perfect color for Hippie. One of the things about Hippie that always struck me as weird is that the long polygons that go across, like from the front of the car to the back, just can't handle being that long, so they kind of, as the car rotates, they kind of clip, like the bottom clips through them. It's weird. Actually, before I forget, none of the stats were hacked from V1 to V2. I think they're all the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. Stinger's E3 doesn't look amazing. I think it looked much better in V1. Yeah, I could have done something else. Could have maybe made it red or white, red and white, or red or black. I don't know. Dirty Buffalo looks exactly the same. Again, I could have probably changed the colors on this. Dispensed. But again, since this car wasn't in the original V1 release, it only makes sense, right? That since this would be the first time that you would see this car, that it makes no sense that it would be a different color from V1 2012 to this to V2. Dispensed is the only car that's different from V1. In fact, this is out goes original lead oxide, in comes Rolls-Royce Phantom. And let me tell you, this car, I think it was the car that took the most work to make, and it's not even, I mean, it is finished, but I did the front and it was spectacular, right? I did the roof and it was outstanding. I did the back and I was just getting tired of it. And when it came to the sides, I was just like, I want this car to get out of my face, and I never want to touch it again, so I just blocked it in. I think the wheels are a bit too small as well, but I still think the car looks cool. Unfortunately, it's kind of useless in race because it's got so many polygons that it's very fragile. Der Fuhrer is, it's got sand camo and a door, some flaps in front of the windshields. Windshields? I don't even know if they are windshields, they're just windows. It's got a cannon, which, let me tell you, that cannon was not easy to make. So it's sitting on an angled platform. I didn't even try to make that look good, unfortunately. But the cannon is tapered, so the back of the cannon is thicker than the front of the cannon, and that is not easy to do. You actually have to do some proper maths to get that to get that right, to get that to look good and to actually be centered. So that took me a while, but I think it's worth it. It looks much better than the original. I mean, not much better. The original has like a simple charm to it, but it looks good. Radical X is silver. There's not much to say about it. Chaos Chariot is Chaos Chariot, but rusty. Yeah, cars 9 and 10. Once again, a bit disappointing. I wish I would have done that something with this, because as it stands now, I kind of regret not putting custom cars for the last two bosses in the game. Honestly, I think it was the same kind of protectionism that led me to put the README files and make them so hysterical. Because I had cars to put in here. I had Nemesis and I had Tyrant, which is the big snowplow. But I didn't want to put them in because I didn't want people to use them on multiplayer. Simple as that. Looking back, I kind of regret doing that because I think it looks. I think it's kind of a shame that you don't get proper boss cars. I mean, you do, but they're not custom. They're just the originals, which kind of makes no sense. I should have done that, and they would have been better versions, like unambiguously better than they are now. So, okay, so let's actually play the game. Car select, once again, Arsenic by Baroque is the song. I didn't use LMP at all, or Hippie in the V1 video, so I'm going to try to correct that. Stage select uses the same music as V1 as well, Between Two Waters by Dope, which, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The stage select, I mean, it still says choose your destiny, but at least the background is bright, which means it doesn't look as bad as before. Stage 1 is green, and that didn't used to be green. It's got some chains, which I made myself. Obviously, they don't look fantastic, but I mean, it's custom. At least it's better than the stock border that NFM1 had. The background is something I stole from a wallpaper, from a Fire Emblem wallpaper. Nice. I love it when the stage select does that. I could stare at that for days. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's play Emerald Obliquity. Still the same Ford. Actually, I don't know why, but this stage takes a long time to load the first time. Go through the checkpoints. That's all you need to know, and it's on top of the start button. Oh boy, I have no idea why that happens. Let's get into it. Okay, first thing first. The music in the stage is One Caress by Mr. Fancy. And I already forgot something. Jesus. Okay, I'll show it when we get to the second track. It's the sketch thing. Okay, so what was the idea with this track? It was, I mean, honestly, the idea came from trying to, challenge myself to make more complex stuff with pieces that were not very much used in V1. In this case, it's the diagonal pieces. So diagonal pieces, as I mentioned in the V1 video, are very finicky to work with because you have to get them perfectly right. And in the days where StageMaker did not exist to tell me to tell me exactly where to put each piece, lining up diagonals was not easy at all. It was a pain in the ass. And so this track was actually mildly tough to make. Let's see, what can I talk about in terms of everything else? The UI looks, it's much improved from V1. Lap and Wasted are have a white border, so you can actually, oh, that guy's coming after me. I better fix myself. So yeah, it's easier to see them in a dark background. Like I mentioned in V1. In V1 I didn't do it. I think I've just forgot about it. But here it is in V2. Position is no longer there. The actual graphic that says position is not there, but the position is, and I think the position could have changed position. And let me explain. Since I took the graphic that says position, now the position kind of looks like it's floating there. It just says first in a random place. And I think I could have moved that somewhere else, maybe like to the right of the number of wasted cars. Also the damage and power bars are completely different. They are, it doesn't say damage or power anymore. It shouldn't say power anyway. It should say fuel, but I already got that wrong in the car select. Fuel low, performance stunts. Okay, that was pretty easy. U1 actually is no longer the cool text graphic, which is good and bad because now it's the original NFM graphic. It doesn't look as bad, but it's a stock graphic, which is not cool. Stunts is in green. That's not original. I didn't get to talk about the stage at all. Ooh. What is this? Another crash? Oh boy. What happens if I turn off the game? Does the music keep playing? This used to happen to people. I think someone made a video back in the day where the game crashed here and then they turned the game back on and they had this music playing at the same time as all the other music in the game, which is pretty funny. I don't know. Phyrexian's version is just stable. Okay, so now I have to go back and open the game again. Oh yeah. But anyway, I was gonna, well, I could take this time to talk about Emerald Obliquity because Emerald Obliquity is a track that's based on diagonal, so I didn't want it, the theme to go in vain. And I decided to make the track sort of based on jewelry or on gemstones, on the way that you see facets on a gemstone. And it's all these weird geometric shapes. So I mean, I made the color scheme green, and I made the track full of diagonals. I mean, it made sense to me at the time. Let's try to get those images in. Actually, now that I remember to do it, this is the sketch for Emerald Obliquity. It looks, I mean, it looks like the track. It's super basic, but you know, it did the job back then. Without StageMaker, having just one of these images like on the side to help you visualize what you're doing, instead of trying to figure out what you're looking at when you're looking at the code, it was just absolutely helpful. Dynamite Dunes, which is this track here, stage 2, used to look like this. Is a basic design. It's again like in the theme of making the tracks challenging to make. Using 100% sand is pretty challenging. For the same reason as using diagonals is challenging, because you have to get it right, you know. Eventually the design morphed into this, which is actually what the track looks like now. It's still got that big, you know, sand pit there with the hoops on the top. Let's get into it. Hopefully it doesn't crash. No, it's okay. Okay, the music in... Wow, holy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wasn't the only one to get wasted, at least. Let's use a different car. Let's use Hippie. The least appropriate car for a stage where you don't have much room to do stunts, but whatever. The music is called After Dream by XTD. So yeah, the theming with this track is, well, make a track with only sand pieces. And the best way I found to make that interesting is just add dirt bumps everywhere. Set 33, I believe. I still remember that for some reason. And, you know, it's kind of a waster. You're supposed to be like airborne most of the time, and it's supposed to be a bit chaotic. At some point, you know, you kind of... like I said that this was supposed to be like a challenge in terms of track design and putting the track together. And most of the track looks decent. I mean, it doesn't look like a complete mess, but it's obvious that a lot of the pieces don't connect perfectly, and there are some track like here. There's no end piece to the track, which, you know, it's just amateurish. Oh, that's nice. Let's see. What else is there to talk about in this stage? I don't know. It's just a waster. I wonder how it plays in multiplayer if people put it in there. Okay. I asked for questions when I made the video for V1, and wow, you people provided. There was a lot more comments, and the reception than I expected, and the reception was really, really awesome. I think most people were pretty positive about me coming back to make another video, and I'm thankful for that. So let me get the questions here ready so I can answer them while I fail at this game. Right. So actually, I have some notes here, so I could tell you when V2 was released, which was the 1st of July. 1st of July 2012. And yes, I'm racing in a wasting track because I'm using Hippie. That's literally the reason why I'm doing that. And he's not that bad. When you I remember complaining about how hard stunts are with this car, and they are, but only because I was doing front flips and back flips when you can just do roll spins and this car does just fine, even on small dirt bumps. So okay, Tobin Piglet asks, is this MDX? Yes, it is. This is MDX. Hello. Thanks for watching my video, and thanks for following me still after all this time. And likewise for everybody else who were like really nice. Everyone was very welcoming, actually, more than I expected. I expected no one to get like 10 people to watch that video, and nobody cares. But it was cool. It was cool to see the reception, and most people are like, okay, what happened to you? Like, did you die? Did did COVID get you? Did this guy who asked me to tell you that he's incredibly cool. His name is Addict. Says, miss you, bud. Hope all is well. I feared that you. No. I'm just okay. I screwed up there. Okay. Miss you, bud. I hope all is well. So yeah, all is well. I just had a lot of other things on my plate. When I released V2, I was already like 1 year into uni, so I had started having less and less time for stuff like this, and for making videos, for making stages, and being in the community. And this, coupled with a lot of events that happened at the time, really discouraged me from staying like active within the community. But everything was okay. Like I got myself a degree, I got myself a PhD, and now with COVID, I have a bit of free time to do this sort of deep nostalgia, deep diving, Oh boy. Well, that's nice. I wasted them. Again, the original graphic. And you're gonna see this happen a lot with V2 tracks, just EAI wasting itself. Much more than with V1 tracks. They're just more complex. I tried to make some tracks that are more simple, like this one, Viper's Nest, which I can show you the sketch for. This was the original sketch. The idea was just to make a fast race track that has some bendy bits. I mean, this is the snake dance after all, so a bit of snaking around is required. But this didn't end up being the final design. The final design ended up being this. And you'll see, like, as it goes along, some of the sketches get really elaborate. Like this one. Sorry, just had to get a sip of water. But this one actually looks really, I mean, it's pretty much exactly how the stage looks. A lot of people asked, am I back? And, well, no. Maybe? Probably not. I'm just coming back to be like a sort of veteran kind of guy. Maybe not. I wasted someone? What? I don't think I even touched anyone. A sort of, old guy. Like the kind of person you kind of ask for advice, maybe if you need it, or to be sort of like a figure. I don't want to be active in the community, honestly. It's just there's a lot in my plate right now, and while it's cool to be back and to do videos about this version and the other version, and to talk to people that I haven't talked to in forever, it's probably not going to be a thing that's. I mean, I'm definitely not going to start making my own versions anytime soon. Let's just say that. Okay, let me talk about the stage a bit. The music for this stage is called. What is it called? I blocked out my notes. That is not smart. What is this song called? I don't want to stop the game. I have to. Okay. Sorry about that. It's called Magic by Corrosion. So there you go. This stage has a pretty dark color scheme, and it's supposed to be a sort of like straight up racer. Oh no, that's a mistake. And honestly, it's one of the stages that the AI follows the best in V2. And I'm pretty much playing this by the book, but if I was just screwing around, I'd probably be like 3rd place. Whoop. Okay. I think this would probably be a I mean, I'd say that about every stage, but this would probably be cool for like a racing stage, as racing stage for multiplayer. Unfortunately, even if you look at NFM 1, the stages are super simple. The introductory stage, it's just there's just 2 checkpoints in that stage. The like He's Coming for You Next, for example, has like 4 checkpoints, and it's just a square. When you do stuff like adding custom tracks, like with this level of complexity, they're already wasted, you see. With this level of complexity, it's absolutely impossible. And now there's a lot more work being done on AI than before. But yeah, back then, no AI for me, no AI editing at all. And I don't think anyone did. I don't think anyone did AI back in 2010 through 2012. Maybe Omar, right? He probably knew what he was doing. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell too much on the stage. It's just a racer. There's 3 laps. And it's kind of dark, but very, very easily beatable. I think I did 1 full lap. So let's just get into the next one. I just detected something weird. Let me go to the pause menu. If I leave the first thing says resume game, and there's like a border around it. If I move the cursor down, the border is still there. That's strange. The theme of Viper's Nest was just, it's a dark and deep, and it's, kind of track that snakes around on itself. Not too much. Oh boy, you see, this is what happens. I'm too focused on talking about stuff and I forget about the sketches. I'll show the sketch after we finish. Anyway, this is Dark Side of the Moon, which is a track that's supposed to take place on the moon. The music is called Blind Justice by a man whose name is obscured. Wait a minute. By Axis. There we go. Unfortunately, I didn't have low gravity back then. Nowadays, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do with NFM when you know how to do Java hacking, but I don't want to keep repeating this point too much, but I don't know how to do it. And I never did know how to do it. So, oops, that is a fail. So, this track has regular gravity. It has no walls, though. Oh my god, dude. I wasted him? Good. He was being annoying. But yeah. This is nice. This is a bit of a trap, If you get your car fixed, you might just hit the spikes like I did there. Oh, I missed the checkpoint, I think. There we go. So yeah, the theme is to being on the moon, and you have this sort of wormhole thing here. I love listening to him say ch-ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. That's basically the gist of this track. Again, it's a pretty cool racer. It's only 2 laps because this is, the grapefruit power, so it's supposed to be nice and quick. Okay, let's get into some of these questions. Laguna side asks, MoGaDeX is back. I'm in shock. This is amazing. He actually, he made 2 comments, which is, it's one of the more excited people, which is cool. It's nice to see people excited for me to be back. Definitely unexpected, He asks, have you found new creative outlets outside of Need for Madness, and what drew you back to the game? I'm trying to make a version of the game. Okay. Good luck, but first of all, on your own version. I hope I get to play it one of these days. Have I found creative outlets outside of NFM? Yes, but honestly, I had so much more stuff to worry about with, getting a PhD and finishing my degree that I didn't have too much time for being creative. Nice, I won. Excellent. I did try my hands at pixel art for a while. These days I run a music server, so a music discussion server, small community, but I've been keeping busy. What drew me back was I remember that these games existed, and I wanted to play them, and I figured it would be cool to make a video about it. And apparently you agree with that. You wasted them as red. I didn't notice that. That's cool. I guess Spence is unlocked. Completely useless car, I think, in the coming 2 tracks. We'll try it out. Jungle Ruins. Not gonna be easy. Let me show you the sketch for Dark Side of the Moon. That's what it is. It kind of looks like a sniper rifle if you squint. It's got like the scope on the top and everything. Whatever. Pretty basic sketch. The Jungle Ruins sketch is even more basic. You don't even. I mean, what does anything in there represent? Who knows? But let's get into it. All right, this is called, the music is called TGM by Corrosion. Let's see. Okay, so first things first, there's a, oh wow, I'm already dead. I'm already dead. This is what happens when you pick Dispensed. Let's try again. Yeah, there's a fixing hoop at the start, which kind of was intended to make the stage easier and harder at the same time, because you can use it, but so can their Fuhrer. Alright. Let's try to race here. So the idea is you go into these quarter pipes and you come back. Oh, no. I'm just gonna pick Safari Wrangler because otherwise it's gonna be impossible. This is gonna be impossible. And even with Safari Wrangler, it's pretty hard. So yeah, it's supposed to be like a stage where you're in some sort of Aztec ruins of some kind. You go in the quarter pipes, which are supposed to be part of the ruins, I guess. And you go in, and you come out, and you pass the checkpoint. Did I pass the first checkpoint? I might have not. And actually, ooh, I'm gonna heal. Actually, the quarter pipe idea is from Trackmania, where you have a similar sort of, oh no! Oh my god, he healed himself and he killed me. But yeah, in Trackmania you have a similar sort of, you know, structure where you go into a half pipe and you jump and you land on another track. So this was the idea. And in fact, you can you do like a 180 just doing this? Yeah, and it fills up your fuel tank. You don't even need to crash into it. But yeah, NFM quarter pipes are special, let's say. And then you jump over the ruins and all that. And then you come on this side and you jump over the ruins again. This stage again is a replacement for stage 5, so you're supposed to be running away scared from their Fuhrer. Even though it's a bit neutered in this stage because you have a heal that's very easily available. You don't even need to jump into it. You can do what I did and try to complete a lap, which I'm just gonna do here for pedagogical purposes. There we go. That's the track completed. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, this stage it's not easy to waste their Fuhrer in this stage because he can heal. That's basically the main feature here. And I like the way the fixing hoop rotates at the completely wrong angle from where the sparks show it rotating. One thing about this track is it's based on, oh boy, it's somewhat based on a game called Ignition. Was like a top-down. Wow, I'm gonna take forever to beat this track. By the way, this is gonna be a disaster. But yeah. There was this game called Ignition, was a top-down racing game, and there was a track called Lost Ruins, kind of similar to Jungle Ruins, but not really, where you go into some sort of Aztec ruins and you race around there. Oh jeez, even Hippie is having his way with me. I couldn't do anything about that. Whew. But yeah, it's not just about ignition. In fact, it's also about, and I forgot to mention, Dynamite Dunes, of all things, is a name that I took from Roller Coaster Tycoon. Map 2 in the original Roller Coaster Tycoon is called Dynamite Dunes. That's a fun fact. But yeah, this was also based on Counter-Strike's DE Aztec, if you can believe it. Hence the sort of green and gray color scheme. Let's see, where is their Fuhrer? Can I do something about it? Can I do something about the fact that he's still alive? Or is he just gonna heal himself? No. This is just... It's a bit sadistic on my part, I have to say. Let's go heal. Oh my goodness. Whew. I think stage 5 in V1 was also one of the more difficult ones. Ooh. Let's heal. Let's heal. And let's try to... Oof. How did I go through that wall? It's so weird. It's so strange. I mean, it's NFM physics, but... Come here, boy. There we go. Get out of my life. And now the game's gonna take its sweet time to recognize that I've actually beaten the stage. Maybe I can answer a question. I think... I don't want to answer the question and then the game's gonna finish and I'm gonna have to talk about the next stage. Why do you take so long to figure it out? What the heck? Oh man. Actually, let's talk about that now. See, as soon as I decide to talk about it, the game recognizes that the stage is over. Stage 6 is unlocked, which is another painfully hard stage. It's not as sadistic as Jungle Ruins because well, in some ways it is, in some ways it isn't. This is Hades, and it's shaped like an inverted cross. This is supposed to be like a super waster where you have no escape from... Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention in Dark Side of the Moon, it has no walls. Because the moon has no walls. Figure that one out. Hades is supposed to be in hell. And the guardian of hell is their Fuhrer. And you see the sketch is a lot more elaborate than the ones before. So let's get into it. This song is called No Mercy by Alf. And this is hell, or as close to hell as I can make it in NFM with this color scheme. So this track actually has a lot of things to talk about right from the beginning. First of all, there's angled checkpoints, which is never a good idea, right? Second of all, it's got, well, already 2 guys wasted. It's got these weird structures here that you're supposed to traverse through. These sort of bendy tunnels. It's got these 4-piece spikes. Screw you, buddy. Yeah. Safari Wrangler bouncing around. Oh no, I'm gonna get screwed up. Let me try to heal. I think I'm screwed. Yep. Very fitting soundtrack. I think that's what the devil listens to, honestly. I think the devil listens to techno because it's the most unpalatable genre of music to me. I think he probably listens to that. So let's try to actually finish a lap of this stage while their Fuhrer smacks everybody. Okay, we got this thing here, which is optional, but I'm gonna go anyway. You're supposed to come out of like a hole in the tunnels, if you saw that. There's another angled checkpoint here, which I didn't pass through for some reason. Oh, come on. Come on, game. This is the hardest checkpoint in history. Oh no, I might be screwed. Get right in the spikes, Jesus. Yep, there it is. Let's try this again. How many tries will it take? Make your bets. Alright, let's stop pretending that I'm going to finish this by racing and just finish the stage from where I was. Okay, so that's the checkpoint. Another 4-piece spikes thing. And again with this tunnel, which honestly, these could have all been checkpoints just to make sure that you had to go through them. But they're not, just because the AI... I mean, it's not like the AI survives much longer, but they probably would survive even less if they had to actually cross those. I wonder how it looks if like someone with actual skill tries to finish this track properly and tries to go like through all the middle... oh my god. Drive through all the middle of these tunnels. With speed. Imagine doing a speed run of this stage. Like, of racing. 6 laps of this. Jesus Christ. Alright. While we wait for Der Fuhrer to waste itself. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go after him. Let's keep going with these questions. NFM Pivot Madness XD, the serial killer himself, says, holy crap, talk about a surprise, awesome video, can't wait for V2. Here it is. Oh my god, the walls don't connect. That's a mistake. Oh wait, I wasted him at the same time as I got wasted. That's... I'm not gonna complain about that. I'll take... This is... Okay, before I get to Mr. Serial Killer's question, let's talk about Seafloor Graveyard, which started as Seafloor Challenge, and this is the sketch. It's called Seafloor Graveyard because it's got that spike graveyard over there. I mean, don't ask me. This track was the last one that I made for the game. And actually the video for this stage and for stage 1, Emerald Obliquity, I made voiceover videos, so that's cool. Yeah, this is... You remember last time when I said it was not a great move to not have a stage where you just come in with Der Fuhrer and waste everybody? Well, this is it. This is the stage where you act like you're a cool guy who just got the beastly car and just waste everybody. Just like a track whose name I already I remembered since last time. When in danger, just chill out, which is stage 7 from the original NFM. So yeah, you could finish this by racing if you are a bit of a masochist and want to race 5 laps of this. I might do 1 lap of this with Der Fuhrer. Let's just go around the stage. This is supposed to be underwater, and it's got some sort of structures here. I think the color scheme really fits it pretty well. Overall, the color schemes, like most of everything else in V2, it's got a lot more polish than V1. Which is expected, because, you know, I had a lot more experience when making V2 than I did when I made V1. Everything is just... wow. Jeez. I'm gonna go back and do it again. Just gonna finish the track. Just 1 lap. But yeah, this game is not challenging whatsoever. You just do nothing. Basically, you can do nothing in some of these tracks and just win. Other tracks is a bit harder, like Jungle Ruins is a lot harder to do that because the fixing hoop is on the floor. And Der Fuhrer is out to get you. But stages like this, especially because you have Der Fuhrer, you're not going to get wasted, and you're not going to lose by racing, that's for sure. So, you know, it's going to be really easy. Stage 7 was really easy in NFM 1 too, so. Alrighty, he wants a fight. He wants a fight. Yeah, he's going to get one. Oh, I'm probably going to die, actually. Jeez. Let's try to heal with this car. Probably impossible. But yeah. Oh, that's not where the healing spot is. Oh no, this is the wrong way. Going into the spike pit is a mistake. I don't know why I did it. Radical X probably went into it too, so that's good, because he might get wasted there. NFM Pivot Madness XD. The serial killer asks, can you tell us some stories from back in the day, from the development, or whatever? I can, or I would if I remembered any. It's been so long that, you know... Oh, I got wasted. It's been so long that I don't remember much of anything. All that I remember, I'm remembering as I play the games. So that's why I'm making these videos, is to, you know, to sort of go back down memory lane and try to piece together how this came about and talk about the development. Yeah. So I remember, like, about the forum itself. Well, first of all, I could tell you how the forum idea got started. It was, I think I commented on one of IP's videos. First of all, I commented on a Simon video on Aerodu, the A in AIM, one of his videos, Aerodu, and I asked him to add me on MSN Messenger. That's how old this is. That's how long it's been. And I did the same thing for IP. I went on one of his videos and I asked him to add me on MSN Messenger. Actually, maybe not. Maybe that's not how it went. I'll have to ask IP for clarification because I don't remember. I know that I asked IP and he said that's a very good idea. Back in the day when YouTube had private messages. And again, that just shows how old I am. But yeah, and we got connected on Messenger, and then I think I pitched the idea for the forum because I was in a bunch of music forums back in the day, and I pitched the idea for a forum about NFM editing, and they said yes, and that's how the forum came about. Other than that, I remember like playing, like posting a lot on text games. It's okay. I did 2 laps of this. Let's just finish it. There we go. I remember wasting a lot of time on text games, and I remember doing a lot of stuff in the AIM chat box. That got pretty crazy. But otherwise, it's all a blur. It's all a blur. All that I remember is stuff from, you know, the game. Oh, that's not the right car for this stage. Let me just go back. And if I didn't mention it, which I don't think I did, the music for Stage 7 Seafloor Graveyard is Musical Empire by Christian. I didn't use Ice Bullet at all, so let's try them out. This is Surfer's Paradise. Let me show you the sketch here. First it looked like this. The idea was to start and go on top of the surf ramps, and then drop, and then just have a fast stage, like the Fast and Furious and the Radical. Eventually, I kind of streamlined it a bit, and I really went crazy on the detail with this. Check it out. It's almost like pixel art, which I eventually did. It even has the spikes properly placed on the stage. But yeah, it's a bit streamlined. It's just a racetrack. You gotta go fast. Let's get rolling here. Music for this stage is called Children of Science by Jester. Yes. There's not much to talk about in this stage. There's a bunch of set pieces like this part, which I already talked about, going on top of the surf ramps or the quarter pipes. Here there's a bit where there's a bunch of spikes, which you don't really need to traverse. You can just go in and out, and then go in and out from the other side. But I like to beat the stage properly. You know, as a designer, you kind of intend for something to happen, and then the person who actually wants to play the game comes in and does whatever they want. And, you know, if that stuff is, you know, overlooked in the design, then so be it. Like in Hades, there's the 4 big ramps to get to the... Maybe I'll go back and talk about it. I'll go back and talk about it. But yeah, here... Wow, that is pitiful. Jesus. Okay, first let me go back to Hades, just to explain what I was saying. Like before, when I designed the stage, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put a spike pit in the middle, the fixing hoop just above the spike, so it's really hard to get, and if you miss it, you die. And that's basically it. That's basically the whole story. But at some point during the development, I realized that, wait a minute, the 45-degree checkpoint is actually a much easier way, oh, oops, if I don't miss it, a much easier way to get to the fixing hoop. But I considered, you know, taking it out. But if the player figures it out that using the 45-degree checkpoint is an easier way to get to the healing spot than the big ramps, then awesome, perfect, so be it. So yeah, it's sort of emergent gameplay. So close. That sometimes you figure out that things are broken and you're like, man, I wish that wasn't broken. But other times you figure out that stuff is broken and you're like, yeah, just leave it like that. It's a different, you know, different way of playing the stage if you figure it out, and it kind of rewards the player for testing stuff out. Obviously, now that I'm talking about it, I'm having a really hard time getting the checkpoint, the fixing hoop, which is fine. I mean, the fixing hoop is really hard to get on purpose. So that's that idea about design that I wanted to talk about. Let's use Stinger Z3 to play Surfer's Paradise all the way to the end. It's just one lap, so it should be quick. Anyway, since I already talked about the set pieces in the stage, let's get into another question. Actually, this is not a question, it's just a comment from Peter. And Peter says, good to see you back. And the reason why I'm just highlighting this comment is because, like I said in the README, during the README segment, I went back and watched some videos of people playing my versions. And Peter was the only guy who uploaded, from what I could tell, who uploaded a video of himself playing the NFM MDX V1 beta. And it seriously, like, it was so awesome to see it because everything was so different from the final version. A lot of the stages were just stock stages from NFM 1. But one of the things that I really enjoyed seeing was the original Safari Wrangler with all the glitches. That really was, I mean, it almost brought a tear to my eye with nostalgia, because seeing that, I hadn't seen that in so long. I mean, ever since I fixed it, which was like, oh my god, I can't even finish the stage. What the heck? I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna finish this damn stage. Right. But yeah, it was like I hadn't seen glitchy Safari Wrangler in a decade, basically. And it was so cool to see it, like, bouncing around and just randomly flipping over, riding on the front lights rig, like that stuff that is, I mean, it's completely lost in the final version, and I think it's completely lost just in general, unless Phyrexian decides to make a playable version of the V1 beta, which I don't know why he would, unless he wants to actually, you know, play around with glitchy Safari Wrangler. But yeah, if there's no, like, updated version of that, it's consigned to history, and since that's the only video where I found it, it's basically consigned to that video and the memory of those who played that beta. And by the way I fixed that, the way I fixed the Safari Wrangler's glitches was the weirdest thing. I changed the wheels on that car from a car that had no glitches, basically, and then I changed the wheels to be exactly the same as Safari Wrangler had originally, meaning that the code that I started with and the code that I ended with was exactly the same. So I have no clue why it was glitchy whatsoever. There we go, that's the finish of the stage. I had no idea why it was glitchy. Same thing happened with Tyrant. It was completely glitchy. I changed the wheels for a car that worked, and then changed them back to, just changed the numbers to numbers that were originally in the glitchy wheels, and it worked. Don't ask me why. There you go. Let's go to the next stage, which, since I have Radical X, might as well use it. Laguna Roja is a track that is based on like race. Oh yeah, but Surface Paradise also has no walls because you're supposed to be on the surface of the ocean. Just go with it. Laguna Roja is based on various racetracks around the world, and it has some obstacles from a bunch of them. They're not quite exactly what you're like how you remember them from the tracks, but you just have to kind of use your imagination. This is the sketch. It looks pretty much like the finished version. Let's get into it. Music is Bishop by Dr. Clue and Scorpic. And so I love this color scheme, by the way. It's probably my favorite, or one of my favorites from V2. The indigo in the sky and like the sort of sunrisey fog just complement each other perfectly. And the red in the floor of the stage kind of complements them both, which, is one of the ones I'm most satisfied with, especially because they're not like colors that you would think would work well together, but they really do. Okay, I've already missed a bunch of stuff that happens in this stage. Let me go back, because I'm not going to lose by racing. That's for sure. Okay, first thing in this track is this tunnel that bends around, and this is supposed to be the tunnel in the Monaco street circuit. Yeah, just go with it. This is nothing. This is just an obstacle. And then here you jump over that thing, and then you come here to this thing, which is supposed to be the banked curve in the Monza circuit. Again, you just kind of have to go with it, because the best I could do there back then was just to put a bunch of quarter pipes. This is supposed to be a chicane, and it's well represented. If you don't go through the chicane, you get screwed up. And here there's an exit from the stage if you want. Just go out. I remember putting that in as a bit of an Easter egg. But yeah, oops, I missed the checkpoints. And finally, just at the end of the stage, is this bit where the track splits. And this bit, some people may remember from NFM 2, from a track called Rolling with the Big Boys, which has the exact same sort of structure, right? One big ramp on one side and a fixing hoop with a small ramp on the other side. And here is a bunch of cars just waiting to start racing, right? Unfortunately, they are ghost cars that cannot be hit. And again, this is just 2 laps, so I'm probably gonna finish it. There's no doubt in my mind. Honestly, I've never asked, so I don't know if this is 100% correct, but I have very serious doubts that the structure of the track that's in NFM2 was not like inspired by this stage. It's a given that without NFM modding, NFM2 would not exist. Like without the resurgence in popularity that AIM brought to NFM and to hacking and all that stuff. Look, it's you can call it kind of revisionist in a way, but no, it's not revisionist at all. It's just based on like the evidence. Even stuff like this that was adapted. There's a lot of other things that were adapted from versions into the actual NFM2. Another thing that was entirely made by us was the NFM Facebook group. I think IP created that, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the NFM Facebook group was created by AIM people, and then at some point Omar took notice of that, and he said, "Can I have it?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." Unfortunately, the relationship between AIM and Omar was always a bit one-sided. I mean, we always wanted to have more engagement with him than he was willing to give like back. But again, he took the group and he started posting his own cars for NFM too. I think the first one he posted was Formula 7, like the new Formula 7 for NFM 2, and everyone was amazed. I was amazed as well. So the impact that AIM and the community had on NFM, the original, in shaping what was to come, is unquestionable in my view. So okay, let's. I'm already racing this for the second time. Let's just go back and start stage 10, which is Thunder Canyon. And Thunder Canyon is probably my magnum opus in terms of NFM racetracks. This is the sketch. It looks kind of simple-ish, but it really isn't, and you're gonna see why. The fact that it's stage 10 probably gives you a bit of a hint. And if you play this version, which a lot of people have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the music is called Battle by XTD, and since there's no arrow, that gives you a bit of a... I mean, you're not sure where you're supposed to go. Everything seems simple at first, you know, just follow the stage, go through the checkpoints. But at some point, the stage has some branching paths right here. And first you go left, and you go into this little trap right here. And this thing is supposed to, like, in the first iteration of this track, there was a checkpoint in between those two. Wow, okay. In between those two walls, there was a bit of a... I mean, there was a checkpoint, but it was impossible for the AI to actually get that checkpoint, so I took it out. And even then, I mean, the AI is... So that trap could have been a lot worse than it is. Oh no, please. I want to complete at least one lap of this. There's a fixed hoop right in the middle, or two of them, spinning in very strange ways. I remember just, you know, putting in a number for the fixed hoop rotation and putting in the same number but negative. Oh boy. And coming up with some sort of weird symmetrical thing. Okay, let's try to get over these with relatively little discomfort. Okay, discomfort avoided. I wasted their Fuhrer because he was hanging around those walls. So close. Okay, so you come to the side of the track. There you go. And then you go to the back side of the track. Oh, that is not smart. Let me just go through these checkpoints. Now go heel. Backside looks much like the initial bit. Oh man. These stages are so easy that I struggle to actually show you the entire stage. That is far from ideal. And you know, I think it's the worst thing about my versions is the difficulty. I think these... Oof, nice. I think this game, NFM MDX V1 and V2, would be a lot more difficult. No, maybe not. I was gonna say it would be a lot more difficult without the AI being able to be wasted. You could still race, and you could still be wasted, but if the AI would be invincible, this game would be a lot more difficult, but it'd be a lot less fun, I think, as well. Okay, while I get back to the spot where I was previously, before everyone else got wasted. Let me answer a question here. Jelly Diablo, who went on a commenting spree on some of my videos, asks, what made you want to code cars? And the answer is very simple. I played NFM like back in 2005 when it came out. And then I found out that it was hackable in, I think, 2008. So I wanted to do my own stages. This eventually led to the AIM, the forums, and then, please. Okay, I'm back to the beginning of the track. So now there's a different path that you have to take. So yeah, it led to AIM, and it led to me wanting to make my own version. And to make my own version, I have to make cars. It's that simple. So what made me want to code cars? The fact that I wanted to have my own version, and my own version needed new cars. Yes, let's go. I think this is a checkpoint here. Yeah, when you go back the second time through here, the checkpoints are actually the hurdles, not the checkpoints themselves, which doesn't make much of a difference in terms of gameplay, but can be a bit of a pain if you miss that. So I'm now in lap 2, and it took a while to get through lap 1, as you can see. Another question. My Key Mouse, who some of you may know as KSM, asks, what year is it? It's 2021. Thanks for all the stuff that you did for me, man, back in the day. And I hope you're doing well. So yeah, this is lap 2 here. It takes so long to complete the stage that the song restarted. Yeah, you go through the back, then you go again through the... you actually have to go 4 times to complete the 2 laps. You have to go 4 times through this various things. Thankfully for us, Mr. Chaos Chariot did the job of wasting himself, so we don't have to. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into the last stage, which is Super Bowl, which is just based on a football stadium. Not much to it. It's just a party stage, and it says final party stage in white, which is terrible because you can't see it against the bright background. And I'm gonna take this party stage, I mean the opportunity to talk about some final things. Ultimato, I think that's his name. That's how you say his name. Asked, what about all the other versions? He asked about Monster Truck Madness, but I just took that to mean, what about all the other versions that you were planning? And I was planning a bunch of stuff back when I mean, it's easier to plan and say that you're going to do something than to actually do it. Monster Truck Madness was one of the versions that I was going to do. And it was just going to be an NFM1 hack where every car is a monster truck. And I had a bunch of stuff, actually. I think I had all the cars basically planned out. So basically it would be DR Monster. Wow. Whoa. DR Monster, original DR Monster, the NFM2 version. Tyrant Monster, which is the DR Tyrant, which is the monster truck version of Tyrant, the snowplow. I made a tow truck at some point. Chaos Chariot was going to be in that version as well. I made I made a monster truck for Midnight for her to use in NFM multiplayer, and I still have that, and I was planning to use that on that version as well. So I basically have a full roster of cars, and I was going to use Monster from Ignition, the game that I mentioned earlier. The cool thing about Super Bowl is you can ride on the stands, basically. These are supposed to be the stands, the quarter pipes, until you reach the corner where you get ejected because the corners are in 45 degrees, and NFM doesn't like 45-degree angles. I still haven't beaten the party stage. How hard could this be? I was gonna make NFM Ignition, and I've talked about the game already like 3 times, but I was gonna remake the game in NFM. Basically, oh my god. Basically, there's like, I think 12 cars in that game. It was going to be on NFM1 as well. And 7 stages, I think, which fits really easily into NFM1. But I had to make... First of all, I never even started it because I was working on V1 and V2. But I would have to make like custom parts, and I still didn't know how to do... oh, Jesus, where am I? I didn't know how to do custom models, like track stage things, stage objects. But okay, I'm just gonna use Chaos Chariot. That's probably smarter. It's gonna be really easy. But yeah, that kind of fell through. Even though I have all the designs for them, I have designs for or the little images that I've been showing you throughout the video. I have designs for all those tracks, but I never actually made any of them, except one. I made a track called Lost Ruins, which I was in Skyline Racing Concept. And Skyline Racing Concept was another version that I was supposedly working on at the time. But Skyline Racing Concept was something that I started working on when I was already burnt out on NFM, and I was already planning on kind of leaving the community, and it was just not fun anymore for me to make cars and stages. I did make that one stage. I actually made more than one stage for that game, but I exited the development before the game got finished, essentially. Am I the only person left? No, Ice Bullet's still around. Also, there was Burning Madness, which was the last video on my channel, appropriately titled The Ultimate Teaser. And it was so ultimate that it was the last thing I've... Whoa! Some ghost bullet right there. Yeah, it was so ultimate that it was never mentioned again. This was supposed to be my version, like MDX V1... No, not really V1. I was gonna say MDX NFM2 V1, right? So yeah, it's supposed to be a hack of an NFM2. So, well, V1 and V2 are only in NFM1. So the idea was to make something new with the NFM2 engine, or with the NFM2 base. But it never came to be. The title screen looked very fancy and it looked very nice, but that was very nice timing by the music to just stop there. Yeah, all that exists of that version is that 2-second teaser. Let me play the party stage again, why not? Because I still need to talk about something else. Or maybe not. I think I already mentioned Code Thieves. It's one of the things that were in the... were a big topic back in the day. Every video of mine had someone asking for the code. The code! The code! It's like, have you ever played Call of Duty Black Ops, where they ask for the numbers? Back then it was the code. Code thieving, or people taking other people's stages and saying that they had done them, was unfortunately very widespread back in the day. But again, in hindsight, people were... It's just kids, you know. Kids will do stupid stuff. But yeah. Otherwise, I think I'm pretty much touched on everything. If you have been, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking through to the end. I hope you enjoyed these. I may hang around the AIM Discord for a while, so if you have questions, just go there and ask me. And did I mention the name of this music? The music in the stage? I hope I did. If I didn't, Abyss by Gryzor. So glad I got that in before the video, before I ended the video. In any case, thanks for watching, and till next time.